Felicia Price didn't remember the first time she fell in love with numbers. It felt as though she had been born with equations already etched into her mind, the way some people are born with a song in their heart. Her father, an Oxford professor, had always been surrounded by piles of books and the smell of ancient paper. Her mother, with her golden hair and soft hands, seemed to drift through their lives like a character in a novel. Together, they raised Felicia as normally as they could. But there was no mistaking her brilliance. By the time she was 23, Felicia was a theoretical physics prodigy at Cambridge, her name whispered reverently in lecture halls and the common room. "Brilliant," they said. "Einstein-like." She didn't care much for the praise. The mysteries of the universe were what consumed her, and none more so than M-theory. It wasn't just a theory, it was an obsession. M-theory promised the tantalizing idea that the universe held more than the visible, a hidden structure of 7 extra dimensions, curled up so tightly they were undetectable. For Felicia, cracking this puzzle wasn't just academic, it felt personal. One night, after a particularly stressful week of failed experiments and sleepless calculations, Felicia found herself at a party. She was a wallflower by nature, but the weed made her mellow, her mind elastic. Somewhere between the bass-heavy music and the smoky haze, a revelation struck. Back in her dorm room, she filled her notebook with ideas. The physics was sound, yet unsettlingly simple. It felt given, as though the solution had been whispered to her from another place. By morning, the equation stared back at her, undeniable. She had found a way. All she needed now was equipment and an ungodly amount of energy. 2 weeks later, under the cover of darkness, Felicia commandeered the university's experimental lab. The equipment cost millions, and the power grid she tapped into could light a small city. She didn't care. The universe was calling, and she intended to answer. Her laptop hummed to life, her custom software calculating frequencies to resonate with the hidden dimensions. She adjusted the parameters until everything aligned. Sweat clung to her as she hit enter. The air thickened. A hum filled the room, rising to a deafening roar. Electricity arced violently, painting the lab in eerie flashes of blue. And then, it happened. Before her, space itself seemed to peel open, revealing something. A portal, a window into one of the curled dimensions. It shimmered, pulsing like a heartbeat. Felicia's breath caught. It worked. She leaned closer, her reflection distorting in the portal's rippling edges. But then the surface quivered unnaturally. Something moved inside. At first, it was just a shadow, amorphous and shifting. Then, a tentacle emerged, slick and glistening, its surface covered in patterns that writhed like equations made flesh. Felicia stumbled back, her mind screaming at the impossibility. The tentacle groped through the portal, searching as if tasting the air. Then came the head. It was a grotesque thing, part amphibian, part nightmare, with too many eyes and a gaping maw that dripped with something foul. The sight of it twisted her insides. The creature moved with a deliberation that suggested intelligence, alien and ancient. Her paralysis broke as the creature advanced. Felicia slammed her fist on the emergency power cutoff. The room plunged into darkness, the hum silencing as the portal snapped shut with a thunderous crack. But it was too late. On the lab floor, a severed tentacle and part of the creature's head lay twitching. They moved independently, the tentacle curling and uncurling, the head's fragmented eyes darting as though seeking escape. Aftermath. By morning, rumours swirled across campus. Felicia Price had done it. She had proved the existence of extra dimensions. Her calculations were undeniable. Professors spoke of Nobel Prizes, of her name etched alongside history's greatest minds. But Felicia? She packed her things and disappeared. The lab was sealed, the equipment confiscated by shadowy university officials who claimed it was too dangerous. For weeks, she couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the creature's face, or worse, its eyes staring at her from the dark corners of her room. She knew what she had brought into the world, and the thought of it chilled her to the bone. Felicia Price, once destined for greatness, took a job at a nearby grocery store. She lived quietly, speaking to no one about her past. But at night, when the wind howled just right, she swore she could hear something faint. A hum, the same hum that had filled the lab that night. And she knew. The thing she had seen was not the only one. Something had noticed her, and it was coming.